this lesson early yesterday morning, and it is a good message. Amen, a good lesson. And we have Genesis chapter 26, verse 1. And it reads, "And there was a famine in the land." Let's park it right there. What is famine? Scarcity of food, shortage, lack, undersupply. And guess what? We have a famine in the land today. And if you turn your Bibles quickly at Amos chapter 8, verse 11. That's just the book right after Joel. The book right after Joel. And I'm going to show you the famine that we have outside of the things that's going on in our lives. Chapter 8, verse 11. And it reads, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord God, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord." People don't want to come to church to hear God's word anymore. It's a bother to come in God's house.
Yes.
They want to be entertained,
Jesus.
but as soon as you want to give the word across, they want to leave. They start looking at their watches. But as long as they hooping and hollering and all of that, everybody's happy. But as soon as the word comes,
That's what we do.
and that's what we need. And it said there was a famine in the land. Famine means extreme scarcity of food, shortage, lack, or undersupply. Pinpoint your famine. Where is your famine? Where is it? And then you're going to see during this lesson, God is able. Amen?
Amen.
And it says here, besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham, and as it went unto Abimelech, king of Philistines, unto Gerar. Now we understand that both Abraham and his son Isaac experienced famine.
Yes.
Abraham went to Egypt when he ran out of the land that God has promised him, Canaan, told him Canaan, right?
Yes.
Soon as famine hit, he goes to what? Out of Canaan to Egypt.
Went out.
And Isaac, God, you're going to see, God going to say, you're going to go through this thing. You're going to go through it. And went through a famine, but God dealt with each of them differently because they had different characters and different temperaments.
Yes.
See, we can go through our famines. We can't. That's why it's not good to judge someone. Well, I went to that and I handled it. I don't know why they can't handle it. Because God has made us different. Pastor talked about that on Wednesday night. We have been made different.
Amen.
And we handle crisis in our lives different from the next door neighbor.
Yes. That's the truth.
And Abraham handled it different. You're going to see Abraham dressed things head on, but Isaac did not like confrontation. and you see that today. And verse 2, "And the Lord appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt." He was getting ready to do what his daddy did. How many of us still trying to do what mama and daddy did? And God has said, that's not for you.
That's right. That's right.
You're going to have to handle this differently. He said, "Dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of." God already knew. Isaac didn't say sometimes the lack of things, situations, cause us to get out of the place where God has called us to be.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
And verse 3, sojourn in this land. Sojourn means temporary stay. This is temporary.
Yes, it is.
This famine, the things that we're going through is temporary. So we just need to say to ourselves, I'm sojourning in this situation. This is a temporary state. Whatever the lack is, scarcity of in your life, say, I am sojourning here, but this is a temporary stay for me. I'm not going to be here all my life.
That's for sure.
There is light at the end of the tunnel.
That's for sure.
So he told him, sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee.
Uh-huh.
See, God is with you in your famine state. We just have to stay focused on him.
That's it.
And he said, and will bless thee,
Uh-huh.
for unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. See, that's why it's so important we as mamas and daddies set a good example and leave a righteous seed back here for our children to follow. You see, what he said, I'm going to be with thee. I will bless thee, for unto thee, unto thy seed, I will give all these countries. I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. See, God is going to keep whatever the prayers your parents prayed over you, and they was in right standing with God.
Praise him.
Abraham is died. He's gone. Here's God still thinking about Abraham. Because God is the Father God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and he's our Father. That's why I tell people might die. If they die in the Lord, they're just dead in this shell. But their spirit lives with the Lord.
Yes, Lord.
The Bible said when you die, your body goes back to the dust where it came from, but your spirit goes back to God who gave it to you.
Yes, yes, Lord.
And God is alive.
Thank you, Jesus.
And that's why he said in Thessalonians that when they come back, the dead in Christ, the ones who done died in Christ, going to come back with him. And the ones like us sitting here now, if the rapture happens, if we in right standing with God, we're going to be caught up in the air with them.
Amen. Amen.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I tell people, you better learn about paradise. Everybody's somewhere, I'm in the hole, I'm in the grave. Yeah, that flesh is, but that's a whole nother teaching. Here we go. And so, and he said, I swear unto Abraham thy father. And verse 4, it says, I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of the heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. He is repeating what he told his father Abraham. So that's why legacy, or righteous legacy, is so important. Because he's going to repeat to you what he told your mama and told your daddy in righteousness about the seed and how God is going to bless your offspring. He's going to tell them that. And he says here, because So, and then it goes to verse 12. Then Isaac sowed in that land. What land? A land that is in famine. How many times, because we have lack, we don't sow anymore because you looking at your lack instead of looking at God. Here is Isaac done heard from God and say, you stay put. You don't go to Egypt. You stay put where this is the land which I called you. Stay put. So Isaac sowed in that land. Now look what happened here. In your famine, God will change your direction. Isaac was a herdman of flocks. All of a sudden now he's becoming a farmer. He's planting seeds. Look in your famine. Why are you in famine? And ask God, are you trying to change my direction? Are you trying to show me something else that's embedded in me that you need to bring out so I can be blessed of you? See, we look at our famine and want to cry and say, woe is me. We look at our lack, our undersupply, and say, I can't believe they don't even go to church. And I'm in church all the time I turn around, I'm in church. And I can't even pay my bills. Yeah, I've said it. Because I'm looking at my lack and I'm not looking at the supplier of all things, which is God. So we see here in verse 12 that Isaac sowed in that land, the land of famine, and received in the same year 100-fold. Everything else, people next door garden is not flourishing. And I got cabbage in mine, I got tomatoes in mine, I got peanuts. You know peanuts grow in the ground, right? So they can't see that, they can just see the green leaves, but underneath the dirt, there's my peanuts. Because we used to raise people to grow peanuts. And they said, and received in the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. Wow. So you saying here, Isaac, because he was obedient to God and sowed in the time of his famine, instead of trying to hold on to that dollar you got in your pocket, you better sow it into the kingdom of God. Not only did God give him 100-fold, God turned around and blessed him. He said, just because you was obedient to my voice, and you did exactly what I asked you to do, not only I'm going to give you an increase, I'm going to turn around and give you a blessing and just say, just because. Just because. He sold in famine. If you're depressed today, sow joy. It's something that I'm walking off the camera just for a minute. My son sent me, and we'll see can I get it real fast, but it really struck me when he said it, when he sent it to me. Let me find it. The ethics of life. Before you pray, believe. Before you talk, think. Before you spend, earn. Before you speak, listen. Before you quit, try. And before you die, live.
How beautiful. How beautiful.
That struck me.
Yes. How beautiful.
And I said, wow.
Yes.
And it says in verse 13, and the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. And another meaning for wax great besides becoming great means it is to grow up. He don't have daddy there no more. Daddy, mama gone. It's time for him to trust and believe God on his own.
Yes.
No matter how much I love my children, the Lord but they're going to have to stand before God on their own.
Yes.
I can just plant seeds of righteousness in them,
Yes.
and hopefully one day it become a harvest.
Jesus.
And it says here in verse 14, for he had possessions of flocks and possessions of herds and a great store of servants, and the Philistine envied him. Now, you will see something what God has done here. He has taken Isaac from inheritance to abundance. In other words, everything that he had, he got it from his daddy. But now God is taking him to another level of increase
Yes.
that has to do with his faith in God,
Oh Lord.
his obedience in God.
Oh Lord.
So from inheritance to abundance. What are you doing with what has been left with you, to you? If his parents gave you faith and taught you how to believe in God, are you increasing that faith? Oh, you saying, oh, because we can't see it, can't touch it, can't feel it,
Oh Lord.
I don't worry about it. No, it's something that has been left to you in inheritance.
Yes.
So increase from your inheritance and move into abundance. Isaac had to do that. And here we see the Philistine envied him. See, when you get ready to move and you're moving where God wants you to move, you're going to run to people that envy you. And they want to have and take what you have. They don't know the struggle.
Praise Him.
They don't know the work.
Yes,
That's
Lord.
it.
They don't know the time
Yes, God.
that you have put in to be where you are today.
All right.
But because you make it easy and you make it look easy, they say, oh, I can do that too. Really? Show me your works.
Yes. Yes.
And it says, and the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac herdmen. That means there was some contention there. There was quarreling there, saying the water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek because they strove with him. So here's Isaac. He said, okay, you guys can have this, but I'm going to name this contention, quarrel. Because you striving with me over this. This is not going to be blessed. Verse 21. And they digged another well. You notice how Isaac people are doing all the work. And the other people are coming up and saying, it's mine. They didn't work for it, but it's mine. They didn't labor for it, but it's mine.
Oh Lord.
And so here's, like I told you, Abraham addressed things head on. Isaac did not like confrontation. Isaac was not a confronter. In verse 21, and they digged another well and strove for that also, and he called that name of it Sitnah, which means opposition or strife. Once again, one thing Isaac can do, he can name things, can't he?
Yes, I can.
He can put some names on something, but he sure can't stand up and fight for it. But he sure can put some names on something. I call you this and move on. Really? And you see, but that's why God had to deal with Abraham and Isaac differently in their famine state, because their character and their temperament was totally different. Verse 22. But if you look at verse 20 and 21, Isaac meant no harm. See, what it is, Isaac didn't mean the Philistines no harm. He just wanted to dwell. But envy and jealousy pushed him to repeated opposition. Envy and jealousy. not. His work was probably saying, I'm tired of doing all of this and giving it up when we finish. Or, okay, I can hear the gossip now, because I probably would be one of them. I'm digging this well, and I know we're going to end up just giving it away. Giving it away. I'm working hard, but whatever I'm bringing in, I'm going to end up giving it away. I can hear the conversation. But then look what it says. And he removed from thence and digged another well, and for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Rehoboth. Now, isn't that something? And I told you, he loved calling names, which means open spaces. And then God tells us in Proverbs chapter 18, verse 16, your gift will make room for you.
Praise Him. Hallelujah.
Open spaces.
Yes.
Rehoboth means open space. And he said, for now the Lord hath made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land.
Amen. Amen.
So now he finally got something he can say, our work was not in vain. We actually going to keep this well. And verse 23, and he went from thence to Beersheba. Beersheba means what? Well of oath. Who had a well of oath experience? Hagar. You remember she and her son got cast out? And she put her son over and she was in Beersheba? And God opened her eyes to see a well? She was in a place, Beersheba means well of oath. So he done moved now to well of oath. God is getting ready to tell him something.
Jesus. Praise you, God.
We need to find our well of oath,
Yes.
for God can tell us something.
Yes.
Verse 24, and the Lord appeared unto him the same night. Sometimes God don't delay in talking to his people.
Jesus. Praise you, God.
He doesn't delay.
Yes, Lord.
And said, I am the God of Abraham, thy father, fear not. Don't fear in your famine state. God is with you.